thought maybe I'd show how these cameras that I'm using, how I'm trying to do this. I'm not sure I know what I'm doing anyways, but I did make mounts to hold the cameras. This one on the wingtip takes, a picture this way, what you're seeing on the videos, and it's waterproof. The batteries and so forth go under this waterproof cover. I made this bracket, which is simply a piece of aluminum with a 1/4-20 screw here, which fits most cameras, I guess, seems to be 1/4-20. And up here, this is a 1032 screw, which I tend to use on almost all my projects. It's made with putting two pieces of aluminum together, drilling a hole between them, like this one's probably 3/4 inch drill. You bolt them together with the screw, run the drill through there, and then it'll act as like a pinch bolt to clamp on things. And the Chinook lends itself pretty well to that kind of stuff. Okay, this one's the overhead camera. It sits over top of my head when I'm sitting in the seat here, and it's made the same way. It's just pieces of aluminum bolted together so I can set angles and things that I'd want on them. Bolt goes up into the camera, that's 1/4-20 thread. I got a big plastic washer on there, but that was mostly just to get the length of the bolt, what I needed. And it clamps onto a tube up here. Okay, you can see up there where this camera is. It's the same thing, just a pinch bolt that goes on the tube, and you can cut off the clamp short if there's fabric or something that you don't want it to go all the way around the tube. And that's pretty much how I made the clamp. Now, there is the intercom that I'm plugging into. There's a place here for recorder, it says on it. And I bought this small recorder to try to get one single soundtrack for everything that's going on, and hopefully I'll be able to hear my own voice, and eventually I hope to be able to hear radio calls in it and everything else. But I'm still trying to work out my sound, but that's what that's all about. One other thing you might want to look at, this is a modification I made. This is a handle that I use to help me get in and out of the aircraft, and it's fastened to the root tube up here. The wire you see goes to my antenna, which is no more than the rubber ducky that came on the radio, and it seems to work pretty well, so I just leave the rubber ducky on there. And this handle is simply something for me to grab to help me get in. And it's real important when I grab this that I use my right hand to get in there. The reason being, if you use your right hand, it tends to swing your weight over the seat. If you grab this with your left hand and try to get in, it's not so easy. So I put my foot in first, down on this side for the rudder pedal, get my one foot in there over top of the battery and so forth here, and then with my right hand on that handle, I swing myself in. And that was one of the first modifications I made, because I couldn't get in this thing. In fact, I called ASAP about it, and they said, well, do you have the wings on? And I said, no. And they said, well, you're supposed to take and sit on this strut somehow. You put your weight on the strut to try to climb in there. And I didn't think much of that idea.
1, 2, 3. Okay. Rick is free. I'll run down the runway a little bit, get it warmed up a little bit. Now, starting the engine about 3,000 RPM. And I'd say I'm talking in a loud but fairly normal tone of voice. But I think that the squelch is turned up too much. I think you probably hear me going in and out. Now, see how that is. That maybe sounds better, I think. But that's at 3,000 RPM. I got a program in here that's supposed to tell me my decibels according to my phone, which is 78 decibels, it says. And that's with it idling about 3,000 RPM. That's when I check my mags. And checking your mags only lowers the noise about, maybe 5 decibels, something like that. Now, if I take it up to about 4,000 RPM, which is, I could fly at 4,000. It's still just 80 decibels. It's about the same. There's 4,500. Now, I definitely can fly at that. And it's just 80 decibels. So the sound in here is pretty consistent. But it is loud. 80 decibels is pretty loud. If I pull it back to 2,000 RPM, which is what it ought to idle at, it still says it's 75 decibels anyway. I guess it's pretty loud. Oh well. Didn't learn much from that, did we? It's pretty windy today. I see the trees are really blowing, and it seems like I can't determine from the trees which way it's blowing. Sometimes it's coming out of the south, sometimes it's coming out of the east. But I really think the wind should be coming out of the west, judging from the clouds. And it looks like if I got up there high enough, I would be all right. There's a wind up there, but it's not as strong as it was a while ago. Now, maybe I'm just looking at local gusts and stuff. It's about 2 in the afternoon, and I don't think you could get any worse winds than 2 in the afternoon, but they're rocking and rolling all different ways. So, making sure the flaps are off, controls are free, temperatures are good. I think I'm going to try to fly this thing, but it might be kind of a hairy flight. I don't know. Doesn't seem to be anybody down at the other end. That looks good. All right, I'll try it. Probably the worst thing I ever did, but I'm going to go up. No flaps. You push the stick forward. When you're ready to go, you pull back and up you go. It won't go up on its nose. Boy, it is really rocking and rolling right at treetop height. Yeah, baby. Look at her climb though, wow. Okay, that's 50 mile an hour. That's about as slow as I want to go climbing. Now I'm up to 60. I don't know if the upper camera can see the airspeed or not, but okay. Pull back to 5,500 RPM. I don't know how this is going to sound. I see the mics, the squelch is on all the time by looking at my little blue light. So I'm going to turn it down. Now, well, that light might be useful. Okay, I'm at 600 feet above sea level, which puts me about 500 feet above the ground, and I'm throttled back to 5,000 RPM, and it's not so turbulent up here. In fact, I can go hands off, at least until some big gust hits me. I try to steer with my feet to keep going straight. straight. I don't see any other aircraft around. Okay. I'll head over towards that Akron Airdock over there. I got the volume turned down so far, I can't really tell very well whether the squelch is cutting in or not. I just have to look at that light, I guess. But I think I got it adjusted about right there. That looks good. That looks good. Alright. Now, of course, we got big fields under us here that I quite often fly out to these fields because if I needed to make an emergency landing or go back, I could do it easy. Right now, it's engine temperatures are just where I want them. Oh, I think the engine's running just fine. Now you can see I've been flying this direction for a while. That air dock don't seem to be getting a whole lot closer. So you can tell that's a pretty big building. And that's Akron Fulton Airport over there. And you can see the beacon on top of the air dock flashing. There's what looks to be like a control tower. At one time they used it on top of that. Probably used that when they were launching dirigibles out of here or something. Kind of bouncy over here. Okay. I'll turn into the wind here and kind of head back. I guess I found out what I need to know. I hope I did anyway. Oh, it's kind of turbulent. There's some gusts up here. This is a bad time of day to fly, too, in the afternoon. That's not too good. Now, the cameras I have out on the wings and the one up over my head, I've got electrical tape over the little hole where the microphone is. So that's what I'm doing about the sound on them, but I'm hoping that the little recorder I got's gonna get all the sound. That's what I'm trying for. That's my object right now. Now, as far as getting back to Mayfield, it's out there somewhere. You can't see it. But down here, you see a factory. That's a latex factory down there. And that's kind of a landmark. So if you go to the latex factory and then go due east, you're going to be able to see that runway pretty soon. Of course, now I'm still up at 1,600 feet. And there's some power lines down there, high tension wires, but they're not very high compared to where we're at. Now I can see the end of the runway over there. I don't know if both cameras can see it, but I won't use any flaps. I come in, and I'm going to come in from the other way. I can't go any further south than this because of airspace requirements. So I'm going to go down to the far end of that, and I'm going to turn and come in the other way. And I'll show you what landmark I look for that way. Guy down there mowing his lawn. I can see when I get to the treetop level, it's pretty darn rough. Gee, there's a few bumps here. Yeah, no flaps today. That would be suicide. I won't try that. Yeah, this won't be so pretty a landing, probably. And if it gets really bad, what I do is I fly away for a while, come back in 20 minutes or so and try it again, because sometimes the weather conditions change, you know. So, alright, now we're down at the other end of the runway. And I've got about 60 mile an hour here, so I don't think I'm likely to stall it, even if the wind come up behind me, but oh baby, is this rough. Oh man. I gotta get this down in the slot here. Oh, boy, this is hard. Alright. Now I'm down in there. Once you get down in the slot in these trees, not too bad over the runway. Oh, baby. There we are. Yeah, she was a slipping and a sliding around there. But I found out what I want to know anyway. Now the question will be what it sounds like when you upload it to YouTube, because I think maybe they changed the sound on it. They try to get the sound up to a certain level or something. I'm trying to turn it down, they keep turning it up. Now, whenever it's real turbulent like that, right at the treetops, which is what'll make it rough, a little bit of a crosswind like that, yeah. You really got to get it down in the slot before you got much control over what it's doing. Okay. Now, I got to get back between the hangar here. So, I'm going to turn my fuel off. The reason I do that is just burn the fuel off of out of carburetors a little bit. See that tree over there? Whew, man, it's really gusty. I guess I should go check the weather and find out just how gusty it is. I'd probably say, I wouldn't fly in that. Oh, I don't want to put prop blast in the hangar, so I just pull up here and I'll pull it back with the tow bar. I'll pull it back.